In the lush lands of the Igbo people, where the Niger and Benue rivers embraced like long-lost brothers, there lived a man known far and wide for his silver tongue and quick wit. The elders called him Ọkwụ, meaning word in the ancient tongue, for his words flowed like honey, sweet and enticing to all who heard them. But as our ancestors say, the mouth that eats does not talk, and Ọkwụ's mouth was ever moving, spinning tales and riddles that captivated the hearts of women across the 9 villages. Ọkwụ was as handsome as the rising sun, with shoulders broad enough to carry the weight of 1,000 yams and eyes that sparkled like dewdrops on morning leaves. But his true power lay not in his physical form, but in the web of words he wove. The spider web catches the fly, but it is the spider's wisdom that builds the web, the elders would say, and Ọkwụ was indeed a master weaver of verbal traps. In the first village, he charmed a woman named Uto, whose laugh was as melodious as birdsong at dawn. To her, he posed this riddle: I am not alive, but I grow, I don't have lungs, but I need air, I don't have a mouth, but water kills me. What am I? Uto pondered for days, her curiosity growing with each passing hour. When she finally answered fire, Ọkwụ's eyes lit up, and he declared her the keeper of his flame. They were married before the next new moon. But Ọkwụ's heart was as restless as a river in the rainy season. In the second village, he met Oma, whose fingers were nimble enough to weave the finest raffia. For her, he crafted a different puzzle: I have cities, but no houses. I have mountains, but no trees. I have water, but no fish. What am I? Oma's mind raced like a gazelle, and when she whispered a map, Ọkwụ proclaimed her the guide of his heart. They, too, were joined in marriage as the harvest moon watched silently. The third village brought Ọkwụ to Neka, whose voice could soothe even the angriest of spirits. He challenged her thus: I am not a bird, but I fly. I am not a river, but I run. I am not alive, but I grow. What am I? Neka's eyes danced with delight as she solved the riddle, answering time. Ọkwụ declared her the keeper of his future, and they were wed as the dry season gave way to the rains. And so it went, village after village, riddle after riddle. Ọkwụ's clever tongue and quick mind ensnared the hearts of 7 wives, each living in a different village, each unaware of the others. He moved between them like a shadow, always with a new tale, a new game of words to keep them enthralled. The chameleon changes colors to match the earth does not change colors to match the chameleon, the old ones would say, and Ọkwụ was indeed a master of adaptation. But as the kola nut reminds us, he who brings home ant-infested firewood should not complain when lizards begin to pay him visits. And so it was that Ọkwụ's web of deceit caught the attention of Anansi, the spider god of wisdom and stories. Anansi, perched upon his silken throne in the spirit world, had been watching Ọkwụ with growing displeasure. A man who eats with all fingers soils his palm, Anansi mused, deciding it was time to teach this clever trickster a lesson he would not soon forget. One night, as Ọkwụ lay sleeping in the hut of his 4th wife, Anansi appeared to him in a dream. The god took the form of a tiny spider, no larger than a cowrie shell, but his voice boomed like thunder across the savannah. Ọkwụ, master of words and weaver of lies, Anansi called, causing the man to stir in his sleep. Your clever tongue has tied knots in the fabric of truth. It is time you face the worthy opponent. Ọkwụ, even in his dreams, could not resist the challenge. And who might that be, tiny spider? He asked with a smirk. Anansi's many eyes glittered like stars. I challenge you to a battle of wits, Ọkwụ. 3 trials you must face, each testing your cleverness and your heart. Should you succeed, I shall grant you a boon beyond your wildest dreams. But should you fail? The spider god's voice grew dark as the deepest night. Your heart shall be mine, and with it, the truth of your deceptions will be revealed to all. Ọkwụ, confident in his abilities, agreed without hesitation. I accept your challenge, spider god. Let the trials begin. As the first rays of sun kissed the earth, Ọkwụ awoke to find himself in a vast field of maize, each stalk stretching towards the sky like a warrior spear. Anansi's voice whispered on the wind, your first trial, clever one. Find the single stalk of millet hidden among the maize before the sun reaches its zenith. Fail, and you lose not just the trial, but the love of your first wife. Ọkwụ's heart raced. How could he find a single millet stalk in this ocean of maize? He began to run, patting the stalks with his hands, his eyes darting left and right. Hours passed, and the sun climbed higher. Sweat poured down his brow, and for the first time in years, Ọkwụ felt the icy grip of fear. As despair began to set in, he remembered an old proverb: the eye that looks down will find nothing, the eye that looks up may see the sky. With a flash of insight, Ọkwụ climbed the tallest maize stalk he could find. From his vantage point, he scanned the field and spotted a single stalk that swayed differently from the rest. He raced to it, plucking the millet just as the sun reached its highest point. Anansi's chuckle rustled through the leaves. Clever indeed, Ọkwụ. But cleverness alone will not save you. Prepare for your second trial. In the blink of an eye, Ọkwụ found himself on the banks of a raging river. Anansi appeared, riding atop a massive crocodile. Cross this river, wordsmith, but you may not swim, nor may you use any man-made craft. You have until the moon rises to find a way, or lose the love of your fourth wife. Ọkwụ's mind raced like a cheetah across the plains. He paced the riverbank, muttering to himself, trying to recall every story, every bit of wisdom he had ever heard. As the sky began to darken, he remembered the tales of the river spirits, of how they loved to be entertained. Taking a deep breath, Ọkwụ began to sing. His voice, usually reserved for charming women, now rang out in praise of the river, of its power and beauty. He sang of the fish that swam in its depths, of the life-giving water it provided to all creatures. As he sang, the waters began to calm, and to his amazement, a line of hippopotamuses emerged, forming a living bridge across the river. Step lightly, singer of sweet words, they rumbled, for your song has moved us, but our patience is as short as the day is long. Ọkwụ crossed quickly, his heart pounding with each step. As his feet touched the far bank, the moon peeked over the horizon, and Anansi appeared once more. You surprise me, Ọkwụ, the spider god said, his tone a mixture of amusement and annoyance. But your greatest test is yet to come. Rest now, for when the cock crows, your final trial begins. Ọkwụ slept fitfully that night, his dreams filled with the faces of his wives, each one fading like mist in the morning sun. He awoke to find himself in a circular clearing, surrounded by 7 identical huts. Before each hut stood one of his wives, their eyes blank and unseen. Anansi materialized in the center of the clearing, his 8 legs dancing an intricate pattern on the ground. Your final trial, Ọkwụ, is one of truth. These are your wives, all 7 of them. They cannot see or hear you, but they can feel your touch. You must go to each one and speak a truth about your relationship. If the truth is pure, she will awaken. Awaken all 7 before the sun sets, and you will have passed my test. Fail, and your heart is forfeit. Ọkwụ's silver tongue suddenly felt like lead in his mouth. Truth. He had spent so long weaving lies that he scarcely knew what truth was anymore. But as the sun began its journey across the sky, he knew he had no choice. He approached Uto, his first wife, and touched her hand. I married you not for love, but for the challenge of winning your heart, he said, the words bitter on his tongue. To his surprise, Uto's eyes flickered open, and she vanished like morning mist. To Oma, he confessed, I have never been faithful to you, not even in thought. Another wife awakened and disappeared. One by one, Ọkwụ moved through the wives, each truth more painful than the last. I do not know the names of your children. I have never spent a full cycle of the moon in your village. Your cooking brings me no joy. With each confession, a wife would awaken and fade away, until only one remained. The sun was a finger's width from the horizon when Ọkwụ reached his last wife, Neka. His heart was heavy, his spirit broken by the weight of his own deceit. As he touched her hand, tears fell from his eyes for the first time since he was a child. Neka, he whispered, of all my wives, you are the only one I truly loved. And it is because of that love that I could never be honest with you, for I feared losing you most of all. As the last ray of sunlight disappeared, Neka's eyes opened. She looked at Ọkwụ not with anger, but with a deep sadness that cut him to his very core. Then, like her sisters, she vanished. Anansi appeared before Ọkwụ, who fell to his knees, exhausted and broken. You have passed the trials, clever one, the spider god said, but I suspect the lesson has only begun. Your wives are returned to their villages, with no memory of you or your deceptions. You are free to return to your life, but know this, the truth you have spoken here can never be unspoken. It will follow you like a shadow, a constant reminder of the webs you have woven. As Anansi faded away, his voice lingered on the wind. Remember, Ọkwụ, a single light destroys 1,000 truths. Choose your words wisely, for they have the power to build or break 1,000 hearts. Ọkwụ found himself alone in the forest, the weight of his actions heavy upon his shoulders. He began the long walk back to his village, each step a reminder of the lesson he had learned. For he now understood the wisdom of the elders. The same mouth that laughs today will cry tomorrow if it speaks without thinking. And so, dear listeners, let this tale be a reminder to all. Our words are like arrows, once released, they cannot be recalled. Let us use them to build bridges, not to dig pits. For in the end, it is not the cleverness of our speech, but the truth in our hearts that will be our legacy. As the storytellers say, the tale is told, let it return to where it came from, and may all who heard it profit by its lesson.